In the heart of the world's most powerful, a chilling logical contradiction is taking hold. It's an emphasis affecting an entire generation, a phantom illness that leaves them feeling poor, even as they are, on paper, wealthier than ever before. We're talking about the great American illusion, the feeling that making is an impossible dream. This isn't just a matter of complaining or a failure of ambition. A deep scientific and logical investigation reveals a complex web of economic shifts, political decisions, and forgotten truths that have made the traditional path to prosperity almost impassable. This story is not about what's in a person's bank account, but what's in their minds, and why a generation is feeling financially suffocated despite all evidence to the contrary. The horror of this story is that the very system designed to lift people up is now holding them back. If you look at our numbers, the story is utterly baffling. The net worth of millennials has quadrupled in the last few years, growing into the trillions of dollars. This is partly due to a strong job market and rising wages, and for some, the soaring value of real estate. But this is where the logical paradox comes into sharp focus. Despite this massive increase in collective wealth, more than half of millennials report living paycheck to paycheck. This disconnect has a name: phantom wealth. It's the feeling that your net worth has gotten greater, but you're not feeling any richer. The money is tied up in a house you can't sell because of high interest rates, or in a volatile stock market. It's an illusion of security, and the moment you try to touch that wealth, it vanishes. This is the first layer of the problem. A ghostly paradox where the promise of a secure life is a mirage just out of reach. It makes the traditional markers of the American dream, like living on your own, buying property, and starting a family, feel like unattainable milestones. So, what is the ultimate culprit in this logical breakdown? Why is it so much harder for young people today to save for a home, or even just save in general? It's not overspending, it's the cost of living. But specifically, it's what experts call the big three. The first is housing, whether it's rent or ownership. Prices have skyrocketed at a rate that has left wages far behind. In the 1980s, the typical first-time homebuyer was in their late 20s. They could buy a home, pay off the mortgage by retirement, a fixed income with a paid-off asset. Today, the median first-time home buyer is 38 years old. This is a clinical logical failure. A generation is missing out on a primary vehicle for building wealth and securing a comfortable retirement. The second part of the big three is student loans. For baby boomers, college debt was a rare thing. For millennials and Gen Z, it is a crushing, ever-present burden that follows them for decades. It's a massive monthly that makes saving for a down payment or starting a family next to impossible. Childcare? In a two-income household, the cost of daycare can feel like a second mortgage, sometimes consuming a significant portion of a person's entire salary. These three expenses have fundamentally changed the rules of the game. They've moved the goalposts of the middle class, to the point where, for many, that entire socioeconomic group is now dead. You now have to earn well into six figures just to afford what was once considered a normal, middle-class life. But as unsettling as this financial vulnerability is, the real horror of this logical in what is happening now, but in the insidious way it's changing the very fabric of our society. This crisis is breeding a deep-seated shame. People feel a sense of personal failure, blaming themselves for not being able to get ahead, even when they've done everything right. They went to college, got an advanced degree, and got a good job, only to find themselves living roommates at 29 and drowning in debt. This isn't the result of a bad personal choice. It is a logical consequence of societal choices we have collectively made. And this is a terrifying realization because it means that no matter how hard you work, no matter how many hours the system itself is rigged against you, the very pathways to success that were open to previous generations have been shut down. This is the ultimate horror aspect of the story, the realization that the American dream is, for many, no longer a dream but a waking nightmare. This is why the avocado tossed debate is so deeply offensive. It's a convenient scapegoat that allows older generations to blame individuals for what is, in fact, a systemic problem. It's an easy narrative that ignores the fact that the cost of housing, education, and childcare have all far outpaced inflation and wages. You can point to a millennial spending too much on DoorDash, but that doesn't erase the millions of financially conscious young people who are making a great salary and still can't afford to live on their own. This is not a personal failure. It is a societal failure. And while individuals are forced to get creative, cohabitate with friends for longer, sharing childcare, and find silver linings, the reality is that fundamental societal change is slow. This isn't a simple fix, but a deeply complex, logical only be solved by acknowledging the true nature of the problem. This is a deep and troubling mystery. It is a scientific and logical investigation into a silent crisis that ends of young lives. We have only just begun to unravel the threads of this terrifying paradox. If you are new here and you love diving into the logical mysteries of our world and unraveling the complex topics that affect us all, then you've come to the right place. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to join the Odd World Files for more logical deconstructions of our strange reality.